Beautiful performance from Kalahi. Why don't we give them one more round of applause? Speaking of Kalahi, Cam, where are you? Aren't you supposed to be like...
John, run Grace lives, and hike!
Wow, I didn't think I could still do that. Last time I did that was like back in October for, what was it? Rice Bowl?
Don't you miss this Rice Bowl duo? Do you remember that dime right between Uptown's fingertips?
Well, how could I forget? Plus, Rice Bowl was too fun to forget. Also, you know, I am co-athletic BS coordinator. Wink, wink, nudge, you know? So, how else I could forget about that day?
Of course, but even as our rivals on the field, we are proud to present our next organization, Kapwa, at Loyola University, Chicago.
Kapwa Cultural is led by coordinators Nia Cristal Guyohoy, Miko Flojo, and Amor Abubu. Since 2008, Kapwa Cultural has proudly performed in the Battle of Bamboo. They come to Battle of the Bamboo with the intention of preserving and evolving Filipino culture while spreading awareness and fostering education about the Philippines' underrepresented indigenous communities. Deeply inspired by the beauty of this culture, they strive to honor their roots and make their people proud.
Their story, long ago, elders passed down songs to the young, songs of brave warriors and love that endured beyond life itself. One such story tells of Lupting, a woman of great beauty and kindness, and Mwanga, a fearless warrior. Lupting lived in Tanudan, where she was known not only for her radiant appearance, but for her gentle heart. Her compassion echoed through the valleys, drawing many warriors who hoped to earn her love. Among them was Mwanga Tinglayan, who crossed steep mountains and long paths just to meet her. When Lupting heard his honest words and witnessed his courage, she chose him. Their union was celebrated by both villages with music, feasting, and joy, but not everyone was happy. Pilak, a fellow warrior and ally of Mwanga, had also desired Lupting. Consumed by jealousy and rejection, his heart darkened. Though once united, Pilak secretly planned an attack against Tinglayan.
During Luptig and Mwanga's wedding celebration, harmony shattered when a warrior named Mandarigma warned them of an impending assault. Fear spread, but Mwanga stood firm. Before heading into battle, he promised Luptig he would meet her at top Mount Patagog. Okay. After 5 days, the battle was fierce and chaotic. Mwanga and Mandarigma fought bravely, and Mandarigma fell before Mwanga's eyes, fueling his rage and determination. Warriors from both tribes were wounded and slain. In the chaos, Pilak betrayed Mwanga, and the great warrior was beheaded, never able to return his beloved. Pilak returned to Luptig with the devastating news, hoping to claim her heart. Instead, Luptig's grief consumed her. She remained on Mount Patukan, waiting, weeping, and whispering Mwanga's name to the wind. Her tears flowed endlessly, forming waterfalls down the mountainside.
So, please help us give a hand to our last competitors, but not the least, Kapwa's performance of the Sleeping Beauty Mountain.
Wow, so I love the color scheme that you accurately portrayed. Those are colors and outfits that are traditionally found in Kalinga, in the Ili, in the villages. And then everything was very synchronized. However, for my own personal aesthetics, as someone who's visited Lukwagan during these festivals, I think musically it needed to be toned down a notch. Slow it down a bit. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I did not hear the color. I was hoping for that distinct pocket round melody, dun 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 dun, but I did not hear that at all. I just heard like everything was just so rushed, and the speed was like a lot faster than what I was expecting. Sorry to say that, but that's just me being a nitpicky ethnomusicologist who's been to those villages. I'm not sure any of you have, but anyway.
And just to give the audience more context, specifically when it comes to Kalinga. In Kalinga music, traditionally it's actually bamboo. So you don't really hear a lot of gangsa. And this is again for educational purposes. Again, good job to everyone. But for more context, in addition to what Bernard said, the patterns are usually softer. Okay, let's talk about attire. I want to also preface this with the understanding that we are working with what resources we have, right? It's hard to get out here, and that's really important to think of from the place of positionality. But I do want to just make sure that as we are all here in celebration of Philippine culture, just recognizing, well, one, I think they did a great job at sourcing colors, right? Just like what Bernard said, I do want to identify, if we do remember earlier, we did see the dinuya that was presented. So we do see that the male performers do have ifugao bahags. I'm not going to dock them, I just want to make sure that we are aware that we are looking at an ifugao bahag versus a kalinga bahag. Cool? Cool? Yeah. Thank you, audience. On another note, sorry, I'm talking a lot because I'm also from Kalinga and I've been working with their cultural berryman, and Jenny, she is my mentor. So it's really important for me to say, your basics were there. Thank you so much. I can see the attempt for the footwork. I would have loved though to see it. So like when we think about Kalinga, I think about the mountains. I think about the earth. For a male performing movement, what we like to see is how grounded movement is, because that's what we're in relation to when we're thinking about Kalinga male movement. But also, a lot of movement stems from the birds, from your environment, from your surroundings. So just a distinction of like grounded movement that's closer to the ground, and then also that pull up when we are referencing like the eagle movement. Also for the female performing, I would have loved to see the outstretch of the arms a little bit more, because in Kalinga you have two traditional dances, that's Salip and Tachok. Tachok has a female counterpart, and that's Sagli. Sagli is where you also represent the eagles. And so you show that movement through the way your arms are outstretched. But overall, a really beautiful job, a really good presentation, and just thank you.
You know what? I really loved how polished this show was. Honestly, in my opinion, it was probably one of the more polished numbers of the whole night. You can really see the dedication and the heart that was left on the stage. I know some of the audience don't know, but I was telling a lot of them backstage just to leave your heart on the stage, and I do think they did that. I will say that as the dances that you're pulling from, the chalichog, the tachok, maybe even the kayasag and the salip, I did see it. What I really would have liked to see was more of it. You're representing Kalinga, and I do just want to have you guys be a little bit more careful that I feel like there's a lot of influence coming from other tribes. Some ifugao, some of the movements of the arms were a little bit too close, which feels a little bit more ibaloy and not Kalinga. So I just want us to be a little bit more careful about stuff like that. You know, the Kalinga are known for being very bouncy and like arms open wide like an eagle. So, and there are times where I feel like it was a lot more like interpretive with your movements and it showcased in your storytelling. However, I feel like the actual Kalinga references were kind of a little bit more sparingly used. I would have loved to see more of that. But honestly, it was a really good show.